Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Now, Chris Larson, the executive chair of Ripple, is actually throwing some shade on Bitcoin. Now, he makes an interesting argument that he actually thinks China can reverse Bitcoin transactions and or block Bitcoin transactions. He does point out that China controls 65% of the hash rate, which is very true. Although a caveat to that, as I've mentioned before, is that China may not actually control 65% of the computing power. They're just concentrated in Chinese mining pools. And the miners can actually allocate their hash rate to another mining pool if they find something funny is actually going on. So I'm not really sure if it's possible to reverse Bitcoin transactions or block transactions so much, even if you actually take over most of the hash rate. We all know it's possible to double spend if you take over the hash rate, but it's very different from blocking or reversing transactions. And someone actually wrote a paper saying that you couldn't actually do those things, but you could double spend. Now, obviously, if the world is running on Bitcoin, which obviously it's not, and you double spend Bitcoin, that's going to inflate the system and make the value of Bitcoin go down, which would actually cause economic problems for just about everyone besides the country that is double spending. So China could obviously have that power. And the thing is, Larson also says that in the future, they could take over the network and actually reject or just stop US payments to their allies. Now, that's a little bit far-fetched, and let me explain why. To do that, first of all, you have to have the US use the Bitcoin protocol to actually send payments to its allies. That is not happening anytime in the near future, or ever, really. I don't think they're ever going to use it. If they do that, they're probably going to go through a private blockchain or something else if they use blockchain technology. I don't think they would use the Bitcoin protocol. So that is kind of a moot point because the US is not going to use BTC to send money to their allies. They're going to use like fiat or something else that's a lot safer than a public blockchain at this point. So that's like something far off in the future that's not likely to happen. Now, he's right that the US isn't winning this Cold War in blockchain technology. Obviously, he's trying to paint Bitcoin in a bad light because he is the executive chair of Ripple and he wants to promote the XRP protocol. And obviously, Ripple has been working with regulators, but some of these points that he actually makes in this article just aren't really, aren't on point. I mean, like he makes this Bitcoin hijacking actually sound a lot more severe than it actually is. He makes it sound like everyone in the world is already using the Bitcoin protocol to transfer money, which they're not, and they're not going to. And he also, I think, makes the hijacking a lot easier and a lot technically less complex. And we're also leaving out the fact that Kazakhstan just took over like 4% of the hash rate, so China has less hash rate now, and like places like Wyoming and Texas are going to take more of the hash rate. So eventually, pools are going to open up in all of these places, and China won't have 50% of the hash rate. If the U.S. you ever uses Bitcoin to send money to its allies, it will be after China actually has less than 50%. And I think like as pools open in other countries, China's hash rate percentage will actually go down fairly quickly because there is cheap energy in other areas of the world, and people are aware that if China actually takes over the network, they can do like things like double spend with it. So they don't want everything centralized in one country. But right now, even if it is and they take it over, I don't think it's quite that easy. They could double spend, but the countries really aren't using the Bitcoin protocol to do anything important or like to pay allies. So that part of it is kind of a moot point. I think you definitely should take this report with a bit of salt because realistically, it's just, it's really just not there. And there's just not enough like real evidence or information. There's not really any real evidence or information that this stuff will actually go on and that it actually poses a security threat for the country. It poses a security threat for the people that are actually using and investing in Bitcoin, but that's not really any kind of like national security issue at this point. And I do think Bitcoin hash rate in China will fall below 50% before that happens, or Bitcoin will become obsolete by the time that happens. So definitely, I think this is Larson throwing shade, but since he is the executive chairman at Ripple, he does want to promote Ripple, and that's why he's doing it. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think, like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.